Welcome to Living a Sustainable Dream, and I'm Krista. Today I have harvested my basil from my garden, and I'm going to get ready to make some pesto. I love harvesting my basil, making pesto, and then I freeze it, so all winter long I'm able to make my chicken pesto pizza from scratch, and my husband and son love it. As you can see, I've got a good harvest here, so let's get started and we'll make some pesto. I am now ready to cut my basil and put it in my food processor. I don't have a fancy food processor. I just have a regular, good old Hamilton Beach food processor. You know what was really cool is my bowl cracked a couple years ago. I went online, got a brand new bowl because the rest of my food processor was just fine. I'm going to cut up my basil and I'm going to put it into my food processor, and then we're going to process it and make some pesto. You know, the smell of fresh basil is so awesome. I love it. So while I'm harvesting this, just the smell of the basil is just awesome. There's nothing like, going from fresh and putting it and processing it. Because man, the smell that you get to smell is just none other, So I just take each stem, and I have a pair of scissors, my little kitchen scissors, and I just literally just cut. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go even easier. You don't even need to cut it. Just pick all your basil leaves off. And, if there's ones that are brown or broken, I don't really use them for my pesto because I kind of want the best of the best. I'm just going to keep on putting my basil in my food processor until basically it is full with loose leaf basil. I even use the small leaves. Doesn't matter how big, how small they are. You just kind of want to get the best of the best. So the ones that are real green, unbruised, unblemished. You want to use basil like this. Look at the leaves on this. They are green. They're not bruised up. They are looking super. This is a great stem of basil. Don't want to use the flower part, just the leaves. I now have my basil all in my food processor. And as you can see, I've got it filled pretty full, almost to the top. I like to have mine pretty tightly packed, but not so squished down that every leaf is, mushed to the bottom. You just want it nice and lightly packed. My ingredients for pesto is per batch of basil that I'm going to make into pesto, I'm going to use 3 to 4 large garlic cloves, fresh garlic, and I'm going to press it. I use kosher salt, grated Parmesan cheese, and olive oil. If you want, you can add pine nuts to it, but today I'm just going to use these basic ingredients to make my pesto. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do before you add any ingredients is go ahead and process your basil. You want your basil finely processed. You want it into small pieces. Isn't this interesting? I've processed my basil, and look at this. I literally have one leaf that has not processed in there. That is funny. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take my little mini spatula. I'm going to kind of scrape the sides. And you can already see that the basil itself is producing a little bit of moisture, which is great. You want that. Okay, so you want to make sure all the leaves are processed. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to run the machine one more time here. Get those out. Okay, excellent. All the leaves are processed. I'm going to scrape the side a little bit. And the next thing I'm going to add is my garlic. I personally like to press my garlic. So I use my little garlic press, and I'm going to use 2 to 3, and you want large cloves. So these cloves to me are not large, they're kind of medium. This to me is like an extra large clove. Okay, so that's kind of a twofer. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there, and I love it when you press it like that. Just looks super. And I kind of scrape it with my knife. And then the insides, these little insides, you just want to dump. I'm going to put 2 medium ones in here. Again, we'll press it in here. Scrape it off. So that's probably 1, 2, that's 3. You know, and garlic is also to taste. I love garlic, so I put a little extra in mine. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put 2 more kind of medium to small in there. That looks great. Okay, so once your garlic is in there, you then want to process one more time. But this time, while you're processing, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So while it's running, I'm going to kind of slowly add the 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I finished adding my 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Oh, this is looking great. I'm going to scrape the sides. And now next I'm going to add my Parmesan cheese. And with my Parmesan cheese, I don't like to process it too much. I really kind of like to have little Parmesan chunks in there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. I make mine kind of heaping because I really like Parmesan cheese. Tastes good in there. And at this point, you want to add just maybe a pinch of salt. Basil in the pesto doesn't need a ton. So I just do a little bit to taste. And here we go. We're going to process this not very long, okay? I'm going to check it. Stir it up a little bit so that that last little Parmesan cheese can get processed. Oh, this is looking good and it smells awesome. Oh, this looks great. This is the way I like it. My basil has been all processed. And now I am ready to put my pesto into little servings that I put into my freezer that are perfect for the chicken pesto pizza that I love to make. I like to put each serving into a little quart Ziploc bag. I then like to put, and these are freezer bags, I then like to put them into, all of them at the same time, into a gallon. And this really, the double bagging really seems to help protect it in the freezer from like freezer burn, and it really preserves it nicely until I'm ready to make my chicken pesto pizza. So let's go ahead and bag it up. Per quart bag, I usually put about 2 to 3 tablespoons of pesto. So I just take my little measuring, I put it down here, I put it in there. There's 1, 2, and once I've got 2, I then make sure that it's all kind of sitting at the bottom, okay? And is what I do is I like to label mine pesto, and I like to put the year on there and the month. And then on the big bag, again, I'll just put pesto and the month and the year. Okay, once I've done this, I've got my pesto in my bag. I zip it up. And is what I do before I secure it all the way on this side, I leave it open a little bit. And I'm going to roll this because I like my pesto to not have a lot of air in there. I mean, it's okay if there's a little bit. Then I seal it up. So I've rolled it up. And this way, I can tell this is my pesto inside my big gallon bag. And I'm going to set them in there. I've got them stacked like so. And my that one batch yielded about 8 tablespoons of pesto. So I got 4 little packages with 2 tablespoons each. And again, I'm going to fold this down so I can get most of the air out, and then I'm going to seal it. So while I'm sealing it, I do a little bit. I leave a little bit open right here, and I kind of press on it to get some of the air out, and I can feel it leaving, and then just give it a zip. And I've got this nice little package all ready to go. It's labeled Pesto 9, 2017. So now I am ready to go ahead and put it in my freezer. Thank you for joining me today on Living a Sustainable Dream and making pesto. I picked it this morning fresh, my basil, brought it in, processed it, made 4 bags of pesto for the chicken pesto pizza that I just love to make, and I'm ready to put it in the freezer. There is nothing more satisfying than going from garden, processing, and being done and having it ready for use in the winter. May you all have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next video.